can see this here. I sent this to you on WhatsApp as well, right? So you have these. Over the Easter break, I just went through, I just looked at the skills test exam coming up and the content of it, and I extracted the labs that match most closely to the skills test, practical stuff. These are the kind of things you're going to have to do. So when you go back over Easter to look over your kind of notes and stuff, these are the labs that are recommended. There's quite a few there, and like today we're looking at, I'm still going to go with some of these two things. When is it?
When is it?
It's going to be 17th. Oh, hang on a minute. It's wrong. Completely wrong. 15th of May. I say 17th of April. It's going to be scared all of you. I meant 15th of May. That's a skill set. It's some way away, right? But to get under your belt, the experience of these labs here is good. Is just giving you the kind of things you're going to be asked to do. These things. Those labs match most closely to the content. And to come, I mean, teach still me is I've got to do 7, 8, 9, 10. And each one of those chapters after Easter is going to be part of the skills test as well. And those are labs we're going to be doing in the classes. Okay. So we're going to work that way. Okay.
Did you send this one on the WhatsApp?
I'm going to, yeah. It's on the video as well. I'm doing now. Good. So you've got that. It's like here we are at today. So remember last week, 5 switch configuration. Configuring, you did those. Sometimes I will choose a packet tracer because I think this is more supporting. The lab doesn't tell you how you're doing, like you did today, right? It doesn't tell you how you're doing, doesn't tell you where you're going wrong. You just, it's a bit like, unless you follow those tutorials very carefully, you can get quite stuck. So packet tracer is better, so if you find them matching, there's always a packet tracer associated to these things. Start on that, and then when you feel confident, then you take the lab on, yeah? And there's tons of videos on YouTube with the labs. How they're done by different approaches. Okay, so what's left now? You're on VLAN. So how did you get on with that activity, folks? Just now, 6217, all right? Yeah, you all did okay on that?
Yeah.
Paul, you got it done, didn't you?
Huh?
Paul, you got it done, didn't you?
Just the very last bit.
You're welcome to finish that off. Yeah, you're welcome to finish that off. Just for personal satisfaction. We're going to have some practical time again in a short while, okay? Some more fun stuff. So, Stuart, is that okay with you?
Yeah, it was a little bit pear-shaped, but it was all right.
So do check results, and do check if there's like a cross somewhere. So looking at Betty.
Can we like when we go home, can we do it again?
Of course you can, yeah, packet tracer, unlimited. No problem at all, as much as you want.
Those 4 will come again.
If you emailed it yourself, the PDF, if I open it on your home packet tracer, it'll open it just as it was when you leave it. And when you go back and fix those things, then you'll see that score going up. For example, I looked at Betty just now, we looked one together and we found a problem. We turned off the switch port access somewhere by accident, the wrong VLAN number, and didn't.
Follow the chat with it. If this gigaport was slightly different,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, then simply one missing for some reason.
Okay. You can find glitches, but they're pointers for you to look at those things yourself and understand them. So little typos can cause problems in packet tracers, but it's the most supportive approach. And your engineering journal, I do always advise you to write the kind of key commands in there that you do every week. That's something that you need to keep with you to hand, a skills test. Okay, we will have a skills test preparation session too, so you'll be supported in that. All right, so here we go. Configuring LANs and trunking. There we go. We'll that one now. Where are we? You did this one just now, 6217. Let's go on to the next bit. Okay, now we talked about trunk, and I mentioned that trunk is a way of combining together various VLANs and allowing them to share traffic, but with different VLAN IDs tagged into the frames. Okay. So to actually configure the trunk, we're going to use like a backbone as well. We use a backbone. The backbone is the native VLAN. The backbone is allowing us to sort of share all those things across one line. That's the native VLAN 99. So to do this, we have to first configure the terminal, interface ID, switch port mode. This now it says trunk. Switch port trunk native VLAN. VLAN ID, that's whatever you've normally called it, and it's usually 99. Often that's used. And then you then specify what is allowed on the VLAN trunk. So this backbone, what can go down it, which VLANs can go down it. So you put your list of VLANs next to this command, switch port trunk allowed VLAN, put the list there, then you end. There's our example. Native VLAN 99. We've got 3 VLAN 10, 20, and 30, faculty, student, and guest, PC 1, 2, and 3. There's S1, there's your trunk there between these two. Okay, that's what we're trunking. And here's a configuration of that. Interface fast Ethernet. It's on S1, okay? We're doing this S1 configuration. So we can trunk to this, S2, allowing us the intercommunication. Switch port mode trunk. Trunk native VLAN 99. Trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30, comma, and don't forget 99 at the end there. It needs to be in the list to allow that to all work together. Some other commands. How do you reset a trunk to a default state? If you've made a mistake, for example, you need to go back again, or to alter something in your topology, then again, conf terminal, interface ID. So no switch port trunk allowed VLAN, no switch port trunk native VLAN, and end. Here's 2 examples of that here. So interface FO1, here the command's being applied. We are taking off the VLAN from FO1. Then when we show it the interfaces, FO1, there's a word switch port here to give you that extra information. FO1 has been reset back to VLAN 1 rather than 10, 20, 30, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's been taken it off. And you can see there's 2 commands, allow VLAN, allow a native VLAN. There's a configuration of FO1 as an access port. So we're switching it off, another way of doing it, right? Rather than having trunk on it, we're also configuring an access port here. So it's back to access, not trunk, and ending that. Okay? The reason why, if you look here, this mode is set to trunk still. Yeah, I want to deactivate it back to the normal mode. So I do that also to revert it back to static access. Removing the trunk feature there. Like this. Verifying your configuration, the command best for that is show interfaces FO1 switch port, and it will show you this here. It shows you your current configuration. And something to add here is something, when you're doing trunk stuff, you have to apply a certain type of encapsulation. This is when you put a wrap around something. And the trunk needs a special wrap around it, so you can do the kind of various VLANs together. That's called .1Q. That's something you're going to use as a command you're going to type in later on. Okay, .1Q, just remember that. There's a small packet tracer here where you do configuration of trunks and setting them up. It's on the recommended list anyway. Okay, that's something we can pick up as practical. Let's look at the matching one actually. I'm going to match. Yeah, it's probably quite good support for that one actually. Configuring VLANs and trunking. 6225 is the lab. Appropriate packet tracer that goes with it. So this is the kind of one that's going to help you to practice for what the exam is like. As an exam, you don't get any packet tracer support, right? You're kind of on your own there. So that's the kind of lab for it. But the packet tracer going with it is this one. Okay, it's a 6224 packet tracer of configuring trunks with this. Okay, so we're noting 6224 there. Revert that later. Okay, issues with LANs, what can go wrong? So issues that can happen are to do with IP addressing issues on VLANs. Because when you do addressing on VLANs, you try and link the VLAN name, see here, the VLAN name 10, VLAN 10 is also the same as network address. It's where you can link things up. Okay, so we associate a VLAN with an IP network. That's how the broadcast domain is done. We give it a special network address and we put stuff on it. But different IP addressing, different IP networks, different VLAN as well, as I mentioned earlier on, must be communicated through a router. You'll see that shortly. Anything within the same VLAN must be part of the same IP network, the .10 address to communicate. Okay, that's one of the rules to follow. In this situation here, PC1 can't go to the server, which is there, okay? It has a wrong IP address configured in that situation. You see the error? Where's the problem? Can you spot the problem? It's a typo, actually. A person's made when configuring PC1. Can you see the error? You've got to look at it carefully. Shout it out if you see it. That's a bit bigger for you. Look here.
172.
Yeah, that's it. That's the network address. See, a bit tricky really. I thought maybe it was here, like this is wrong, but oh no, they're being tricky. This is the bit that's wrong. 172. That's actually 17. So not the right network address. Troubleshooting. So with kind of like troubleshooting issues, if you have checked all the IP, that's the first thing that is a problem normally. If you don't find a mismatch, okay, there's actually no mismatch at all, and you resolve them, and you still can't connect, you've got to check the VLANs that exist in the switch. There's a little thing here. Little troubleshooting diagram. I don't want you drawing these things out, in your engineering journal if you want to put them in if you come across a problem. You can take a picture of it and print it or put it in there. I don't really mind. So show VLAN, these are the kind of commands that will help you with troubleshooting. Is that the correct, is port and correct VLAN? You can do it by these commands. And if it is, then go through these things. Is it in the database? And verify those connections are there. Troubleshooting trunks. Checking again that the local addresses are matching properly. Yeah. So firstly, the native VLAN on local and peer ports are matching. Are the trunk modes on the local and peer ports, the peers of the adjoining ports, compatible? You may need to change native VLAN to match, or statically configure ports on both devices to trunk. Is the example here given. The native VLAN should be 99, but it gives 2. Configure the same native VLAN on both sides. So configure that with a 99 VLAN to fix that problem. That issue there. Problems with trunks. So most commonly, native VLAN mismatches, as an example there. Trunk mode mismatches, allowed VLANs on trunks. Okay, so it does recommend you troubleshoot them using that little diagram I showed earlier in that order. It's a systematic approach to troubleshooting. Incorrect port modes. Here, PC4 can't reach the web server. Network address is fine. Okay, the trunk links on S1 and S3 are verified, but reveal S3 has been configured as a trunk, as an access port and not a trunk port. Okay, how that was revealed was like this. Look at how it's resolved. So we haven't got a trunk on that one. Show interfaces trunk. Okay. Admin mode trunk. Then go into, that's S1 by the way. That's all right. S1's good. S3 show interfaces trunk. This is admin mode static access problem. Must be the same. To resolve it, go to S3. FO3 is a port. Conf terminal interface FO3 switch port mode trunk end. That will resolve it and configure it as a trunk link. They're therefore matching. Another troubleshooting we're showing here. Incorrect VLAN list. PC5 cannot reach the student email server. Where are you? Can't reach the student email server over here. Addresses are fine on the same network address. Looking at switch port trunk allowed, okay, this command here, when I show on S1, which is the kind of bridging one here, what's allowed, I can see 10 and 99 there, okay, are the ones that are allowed on FO1 only, okay. 20 is missing from that list. I have to add 20 on the list afterwards. It's just been omitted for some reason. So what I'll do is I'll go to conf terminal FO1 and make sure I repeat the statement allowed, and I include 20 there and there. Yeah, and then some context at the bottom, but whoops. Now I show trunk again and I get the 10, 20, 99 at the bottom there. That's now added that back to the list. Troubleshooting scenario on this packet tracer here. So for us to do, probably might be good to do a short while. Troubleshooting and the one before it, configuration of trunks, which is very close to your lab, 6224. Well, I'll print it in a short while. Let's just move on. We've got a few more slides to go. Then troubleshooting can follow that. a scenario. It's various scenarios. Second scenario, and a lab on it also. This one, is that in your list of labs? No. Yeah. Good news is you won't be doing any troubleshooting, only your own one on that exam if you're going to need to do it. So now on to the next thing. Now I did mention earlier on that if we are going to do, we call it inter-VLAN routing, we need to use a router to move traffic across the different switches. Okay? Otherwise they're in their own broadcast domain, so a router is the key component of that. That's a diagram of how it works. So switches are normally layer 2 switches. Okay? One of the reasons why Cisco calls things the 2000 series and the 3000 series. Cisco 3000 series is a layer 3 switch. Yeah, allows both. It does much more than a normal switch does. Okay, so it's worth getting one of those things, but we're going to go into this in more detail. You need a router to do this actual operation, and inter-VLAN routing enables that. Okay, so you can see a diagram here. This is showing you the router is enabling these PCs here to do more and go beyond their own network. Okay. 30 and 10 here allow the traffic to move from one to the other because this route is above it. 3 types of routing: legacy inter-VLAN routing, router on a stick, and layer 3 switching using SVIs. This is the virtual interfaces on the layer 3 switches. We'll look at those 3 approaches now. This is the another 10 slides to go with that. Okay, so start with this. Legacy. Older systems. Previously, router interfaces were used to route between VLANs. There you go. Routers configured with 2 separate physical interfaces, G0 and G1, to interact with different VLANs. Okay, look at the network addresses. 10.1 there, so it's tiny, folks. 10.1, G00 is going that line, and 1730 is going down this other line here. The VLANs we're handling are 30 and 10 on this, and the routers are enabling that kind of operation. So how this legacy system used to work: we have this connection to a different interface on the router. Packets arrive on the router through one interface, get routed and leave through the other router. So what's happening is, when these devices talk to each other, it bounces around here, goes up to router then switches it round, and the router allows it down the other line. Okay, that's what's going on. And because the router interfaces were connected to VLANs and then IP addresses from that specific VLAN, therefore that was achieved. I mentioned the addresses here earlier on, how they were configured. So large networks with many VLANs require many router interfaces to be used for this. That's legacy. Now we want to router on a stick. This uses only one of the router's physical interfaces, a little single line here. Okay, now we're using a new concept called the dot concept, okay? Yeah, so with this, what happens is, here's the example. I'll just zoom on that first. Thing. R1 is configured as a trunk link in the interface here. Connects the trunk FO4 port on S1. Router takes VLAN tag traffic on the trunk interface. Going into there, it will take in the traffic. It goes into the router. And internally, it routes between the VLANs using something called sub-interfaces. These are like virtual sub-interfaces. One interface can be split into many interfaces. Think about that, imagine that concept. So we can split into 3 routes inside a router and send it back out again. And the router itself can tag the traffic with VLAN IDs. So routers are forwarding on the traffic out as VLAN tag for the right destination out of the trunk link. So it's going in there, a little loop. Where am I? What's going where? Send it back out again. And it bounces about to where it needs to go. Now these sub interfaces, where it works is, one of the router's physical interfaces is configured, that particular one is configured as an 802.1q trunk port, so it can understand tags. So you've got to configure it manually, okay, make it understand those tags. Next, you've got to create your logical interfaces, one sub interface per VLAN. We'll see the commands on that in a minute. You configure each sub interface with the IP address and the VLAN it represents. And the VLAN members, these hosts, are also configured to use a sub-interface address as a default gateway. It's not the usual router default gateway, the central default address. You use a sub-interface address instead. That's my way out. Okay. So as long as you remember these rules, you're going to be okay with your config. All those 4 points apply. Okay? Right, going into the config itself. Oh, hang on, I'm just going to explain them first of all, I think. Right, 49. What is inter-VLAN routing? Let's go back to where it started from. There are 3 different options. We just did router on a stick. Sub-interfaces. How we now configure the legacy, which is the first version, which is the double line one, and prepare it. We need to have routers with multiple physical interfaces. Each router is connected to a unique VLAN. Each interface is configured with, so the interface is configured with the network address of the subnet for the particular VLAN. And network devices use the router as a gateway to access the devices connected to other VLANs. So the default gateway is the line in here. You can see how it's building on all the stuff you've done so far. It's bringing it into one place. 53. Configuring legacy into VLAN routing. Again, there's 2 lines. How do I do this? So if I want to configure the VLANs on the switch and assign the ports to the respective VLANs, here's how I do this. I will configure S1, port 4 and 11, this line over here, for VLAN 10. These 2, 5 and 6 are for 5, also 16 there. It should be 16 here as well. 5 and 16 should be VLAN 30, that's this side. Here's how the configuration's being done. So I go into S1, VLAN 10, VLAN 30, interface FO11, switch port access VLAN 10. Remember, I'm doing 4 and 11 here. FO4, I'm going to do switch port access VLAN 10 again. It's also doing, switching over now, interface FO6, this one, and giving it assignment of VLAN 30, FO5, VLAN 30, and then ending there. Okay, here's a configuration of the right VLANs in the right place. And you will be given like descriptions and visualizations to show you that. So you have what you need. Okay, now how do I configure the router interfaces now? I've got 2 interfaces to sort out, G00 and G01. Next step, let's go in here. So I mentioned the network address is crucial for this. You have to have that ready. So interface G00, IP address, I'm giving it that address there. /24, apply your mask. You should now know that that is 255 all the way to 0, like that. Interface G01, IP address 30.1, same subnet mask /24, like this, and then no shutdown. Both those things require a no shutdown to go to up status. By default, they are not up. Okay. Legacy into VLAN, that one is. There's a lab on that also. Again, that is not the lab we're looking for. We want 6237, approaching that one. 56 here. Configuring router on a stick preparation. This is the other approach, the final one. This is a single line. So we have to, you really use one router line here to do the kind of trunking on it. We must connect to a trunk link on the adjacent switch, so the switch nearest. We make sub-interfaces. We assign each sub-interface to a specific subnet address. Here's how they look, these things. We're now going to see these little dot things appearing. That's how we do the right tagging. So here's how it looks. We can configure each sub-interface with these addresses on the .10, .20. So you know you've got interfaces like G00, isn't it, normally, right? So we've got G00, we've got G0.1, G0.2, G0. etc. There's obviously a limit how many you can do these things. Sub-interfaces are given each different network address for each VLAN. So 10 goes all tidy. To keep it tidy, it's easier. VLAN 10, sub-interface 10, point 10. That's it. That just makes it easy for you when you're configuring to keep it logical. How's this now done practically? Okay, so configuring the router on the stick switch configuration. Here I now go. I'm going to first enable inter-VLAN routing on the actual process itself by enabling trunking on the switch port connected to the router. Step 1, go to switch, VLAN 10, VLAN 30, interface FO5, which is the one talking to the router, make this a trunk link, switch port mode trunk, and then end. Okay, that's the first stage. I've done a switch configuration, and I got to sort the router out. There we go. So onto the router now, R1. I require sub-interfaces on each routable VLAN, and I must also make sure I configure with a new encapsulation command, .1q, which allows that type of special encapsulation which supports sub-interfaces. Here's how this command looks. So here we go. Here's our setup here. I go to my interface on G00, okay, single line, no G01 being used here. I do my encapsulation .1q. Notice I've not gone interface G00, but G0/0.10 is how I do this particular setup. I then do encapsulation .1q10. The number 10 is your VLAN number. IP address, network address, 10 again there. Subnet mask /24, that address. I then do the other sub-interface, interface G0/0.30, encapsulation again, .1q30, sub-interface address, IP address 30.1 /24, subnet mask. Interface G00 is called again, so you go back to the top level of the interface. The reason why I've got to go up here, if I do no shutdown inside, what's going to happen? If I don't go back to level, what will happen? I can't shut down. I mean, the thing is, I'm inside the interface sub-interface here. I must shut at the top level, okay? If I'm shutting at the bottom level, it's not going to activate properly. So I go back, level up, and I go no shutdown. And what you want to see, if you're happy, is you want to see this sort of stuff appearing. Up and up status. Now up and running again. Okay, now, verifying sub-interface is working. You're not seeing any commands for this yet, but they are there. All you need to do is do a show space VLAN command, okay? And that will give you all the information you need to see about encapsulation. You can see the virtual LAN ID. Encapsulation is up and running. You've got your trunk interface, your sub-interface there, and you're looking for the match 10, 10, 10. That's what your eye is looking for, that pattern, yeah? Same here, 30, 30, 30. That's great. It's working really well. You also have show IP route to verify sub-interface configuration. So give another level of detail down here. Show IP route down the very bottom. Remember the little C's and L's here? So you've got your network addresses set up, 10.1, 30.1, and the network addresses are also set up on the level above it. And you see a subnetting going on, the level above that. Okay, so two commands, show VLAN, show IP route are for your engineering journal. Okay, now verifying routing is by pinging, as always. So what we do with a ping is we're going to be able to ping, and it's actually, once you've configured it, you've now got to test it. So you use a ping command. PC1 is going to ping 17.30.23 down over here. If all is well, it will go through the route, no problem. Yeah, it's reached destination. Tracer T is also useful utility to confirm the route path taken. This will show you the way it went, which should hopefully show you the path is working right. So here you go. We're going to do tracer T 30.23 from PC1. The first part of the route, it goes to 10.1. It then goes to 30.23. 10.1 we did earlier on was that configuration there. 10.1 on that particular sub-interface. It's working right. It's gone there, right there, out that way again. Good. Two Q commands for verifying routing. So this particular packet tracer here is configuring router on a stick into VLAN routing, and that's followed by the lab 6337. And there's another challenge. Oh, look, the packet tracer challenge. If you really want to do another one, into VLAN routing challenge. Okay, right. So I think in terms of your practicals now, this one could take a bit of time to do. You know, it's the one that's probably closest to your lab, and I would say maybe that's the one to go for. You know, in practice for this particular lab here. So if you had to go at this particular packet tracer, 6336, that is a very good practice for your lab. Yeah, 6337 is the lab, which is the kind of full-on configuration, but I would like to use a packet tracer. It's very similar. It'll get you in the right mindset, and if you save the PK file, you know that when you do your lab, you've got that to fall back on. Right? So what I'll do is I'll print out for you both things. This one, 6336 and 6337, and the couple before it as well. You have what you need. Okay? You get it sorted out now. But yeah, I think you can go for this one. It's right in the deep end of it all, but how about that?
Will you go home or?
Whether you like it, really. I mean, this is at the time of now. I mean, you've got the choice. If you don't feel up for this one, yeah, so I've covered all the kind of slides now. The ones you can look at are troubleshooting, configuring trunks, 6224. It's very good for that one. Very close to that one there. So if I'm going to print out them all anyway, you see, I'll do them all and you just choose the one you want to start with. Yeah, you've not done trunks before either, so in terms of the time you've got, if you really want to go for it, go for that one. Then it kind of integrates it all together. And if not, I'd go for that one before it, 6224. It's like just trunking itself. Depends what you can handle, probably. this time of day, all of you actually, how you're feeling up to it. Let me just print them out for you.
Which video you do it home?
No problem at all. That's absolutely fine. So it's 6224. Let's get that print out for you. Now I have with me also a solutions support thing. So if you're getting stuck, I can help you out. These ones are critical. Troubleshooting is in your own time, I think, really. I don't really want to spend time on that one here. I'd rather you do it on ones that matter. This one and this one, 6336 and 6337. Right, Birmingham, I'm going to get your stuff printed out for you now. All right.